Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Polio Experts. Today we're lucky enough to be here with Hans Everts, a long-time polio eradicator here based in with the World Health Organization in Geneva. Hans, welcome.
Thank you.
Hans, could you give us a little bit of a picture of your history in polio eradication, how long you've been in the program and where predominantly you've worked?
Right. I started in '96. I'd done 11 years work with Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, in various disasters in the world. And I started here to work on the product information sheets, the cold chain catalog, to update it. And then quickly, after about 1 or 2 years, I moved to polio. And in polio, I covered all fields of the disease, of the fight against the disease. I went, because I speak French, so I was quickly assigned to a focal point for West Africa. I spent a lot of time in Central Africa, in the French-speaking countries also. I had periods that I went to Pakistan, Afghanistan and India, but in the end it was French-speaking Africa. That was my main focus.
So obviously now we're down to 3 countries, 3 polio endemic countries in Afghanistan, Pakistan and Nigeria. Throughout many of the years that you were here, we saw large-scale outbreaks across Central and Western Africa and quite a considerable number of cases. What were some of the real challenging areas and the key challenges that you overcame during that period?
One of the challenging areas is, well, one of the challenges is because of transport problems, is to get there as quickly as possible. I still had very much the MSF mentality in my head that today you hear about an emergency, you try to be there tomorrow. Well, in some areas like DR Congo, that's just not possible because of flight restrictions, unless you accept to take any airline, but then you probably risk your life. So flight restrictions, there's not, in a country like DR Congo, which is, I think, 4 times the size of France, there's not a single tarmac road from east to west. It's all concentrated around Kinshasa, Lubumbashi, and a few other cities, but there's no contact between them, which is a good thing for polio, but not a good thing for the population of DR Congo. I think an interesting experience I had there was in 2010, was an outbreak in Kasai Occidental. The plane landed in the capital of the province, and it was about an 8 hours drive from the capital to the place where the virus was, which was close to the Angola border, and the outbreak there was related to the diamond trade and an outbreak in Angola. Anyway, we decided to go by car, which was the only possibility anyway, and quickly got stuck in the bush because they were building a new road, but it hadn't finished yet. And the driver he knew there was a new road partially finished, but he didn't know where it finished. So all of a sudden we stood in front of road building machines, and we had to make a decision. And you ask the local population, since they move on bicycle or on foot, they just say, yeah, this is right, yeah, just go straight ahead, which is fine for them. But so we went with the car on a path which was probably 20 centimeters wide. And all of a sudden we stood in front of a small creek with a sort of a improvised bridge of wooden beams. And I told the driver, listen, get out of the car because I'm not sure we can pass here. And he said, well, yeah, no problem. And so we started passing, and of course we didn't fall in the creek, but the car slipped off the beams. And we were in the middle of nowhere, no mobile phone contact, international traveler. I thought this is a great situation. It took the villagers about 4 hours to get us out. And by then it was around midnight. And I asked the driver, I said, so how much are you going to give them now? And he said, I don't remember the amount exactly, but it was ridiculous low, something like $2. And I thought, 15 people working for 4 hours, $2, that's something not good. And something was not good. So it became pretty hot there. And whereas for much of the evening I was walking around and looking at the sky thinking, gosh, all these people in Geneva, they never see this. This is wonderful. At the moment when there were 15 people angry around the car, I was a little bit less happy. Especially one of the boys, he was just learning English, and so he would come and see me and say, I will kill you, I will kill you. And I mean, I tried to smile and be fatherly nice to the boy. But anyway, we got out there. They started pushing the car. Then they hang on to the car. It was a little bit tense. And if I would have disappeared there, since there was no telephone contact, there was nothing, it would have taken quite a while to find me or my remainders. Then we started driving again, but the driver, he obviously wasn't aware of the road. So we got stuck. You know, you got two types of tracks, the track for the four-wheel drive and the track for the truck. The four-wheel drive does not fit in the track for the truck. And the villagers, and so we got stuck every 100 meters. And the villagers had stolen our shovel. And so we had to dig our way. And I thought this was great. I mean, compared to sitting on a chair in your office, this is great. But it became a little bit less great because once you've shuffled yourself 4 or 5 times out of a situation where the car is completely stuck. Anyway, then somehow we got within reach of the other city where we were going, Chicapa. And yeah, since there are not many cars driving the night through the jungle there, they found us just by looking at the lights, and they found us miraculously. And we arrived in Chicapa at 10 o'clock in the morning to deal with the outbreak.
So the polio eradication program is known as a program that needs to get to the last village at the end of the last road. Do you believe that that the program's willingness and ability to get out to these distant settlements and so forth has been one of the keys to its success?
I think yes. I always went to the district because unless you look at how the people and the conditions under which the people work and how they work, and you don't understand the full story from A to Z if you just stay in the capital or don't go to the country at all. You need to go to the district, you need to see what happened in reality.
And in terms of when you arrived, either in a capital or in a district, what would you look for, and what were the systems that you needed to see put in place to be confident that they could stop the outbreak?
Well, there's a nice anecdote there. That was in the outbreak in Cameroon. I arrived, the next morning we went off to the field, to the district, to the affected district. And the WR, she was also, because the opening ceremony. I always got away from opening ceremonies because they are a complete waste of time. For me at least, they're a complete waste of time. They're always supposed to start at 8:30, but by 10 o'clock nobody knows where the people are. So you waste a day. So that's what happened. So the driver, I'm always very much interested in markets. I think markets are one of the places where if there are missed children, many of them will be at the market. And so a certain moment the WR saw the driver and said, where is Mr. Hans? Where is Mr. Hans? He was supposed to be at the ceremony. And the driver said, oh no, I dropped him off in the market. So yeah, that's the answer to your question.
So in your experience across Central and West Africa, are there any elements in what has been now a long time polio-free area? Are there any key lessons learned out of that could be used for other child health initiatives or indeed in the remaining polio endemic countries?
Well, yeah, steady health services. I mean, it's clear that a country cannot depend on NIDs to survive in the long term. So, although I think you have to put it in the right balance, it's not for nothing that routine immunization is one of the main pillars of eradication. And well, that's it.
Well, thank you, Hans. It's been a pleasure to have a coffee or indeed a water with a polio expert such as yourself. Thanks for watching and see you next time.